I am connecting. Hake is live according to Twitter and Periscope and Mixer and working on the other ones. What's up? Facebook.com/The Hake Report. YouTube and D Live, we are live. Very nice. And hopefully we are past the point where we have been dropping. Maybe the COVID has worn off, or is it going to have a resurgence? We shall see. But for now, Twitch should be connecting. It is Monday, June 8th, 2020. Happy birthday, John. Very nice. That's cool. Right on, John. And get ready for a show. Let's do this.
I know there's not much that I can say that would make things any better right now, but I just want you to see in my eyes how sorry I am for the comments that I made yesterday. I know that it hurt many people, especially friends, teammates, former teammates, loved ones, people that I care and respect deeply. That was never my intention. I wish I would have laid out what was on my heart in regards to the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery, the years and years of social injustice, police brutality, and the need for so much reform and change in regards to legislation and so many other things to bring equality to our black communities. I am sorry, and I will do better, and I will be part of the solution, and I am your ally. And I know no words will do that justice. That's going to have to be.
That's how he ended it. He just ended the video like that. That's Drew Brees. Cucks galore.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, what's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. Like I said, Monday, June 8th, 2020. We are live still, right? No? Yeah. The stream did apparently briefly drop, however, because I see Periscope is doing a new thing. So, sorry about that. Yes, we are back. Sometimes the stream drops a little bit. It's discrimination against the white man. It's systemic racism. It is oppression. It's not the black man, the white man. It's the white man, the black man. But when the white man rises from the oppression, then we shall have freedom in this land, or something like that. Hake Steam is ghetto. Stream is ghetto. Oh, anyways, sorry about that. No worries. We are back. Hey, Beers. What's up to you? So, what you just witnessed was a disgusting display from a few days ago. It is old news, kind of, but there is an update. Drew Brees apologized, groveling, and in his video on IG, and I am going to read yesterday's super chats, by the way, and get to some other comments. Lines full of calls, 888-775-3773. But the lines are full, so you can't call in right now. I mean, you can try, but it'll just get a busy signal. But Drew Brees said, step by step, you will see my heart for exactly what it is and the way everyone around me sees it. I'm sorry it has taken this long to act and to participate in a meaningful way, but I am your ally in this fight. An ally, in this sense, is evil. It's evil. It's fake. It is a disservice to the blacks because it's pretending that, oh, yeah, you poor victims. Victim-minded people are the greatest perpetrators of evil in the world. It's a fact, Jack. Well, the Sun reports and Drudge reports, Drew Brees' wife apologizes for his insensitive comments. Did his wife get a hold of him? There's that blonde lady with that smug look, and he looks all innocent and blank. Almost looks like Joe Biden right there. Poor man. Drew Brees, 42 years old. His wife, Brittany, I don't know how old she is, but she took to Instagram under his foundation. I don't know if she has any money. He's the one with the money, I think, unless she's like a star some way. But the Brees Dream Foundation, it's a tongue twister, Instagram account. She posted connecting. What's up, guys? I am back. You should see me. Reconnect. I'm just going to wait till I see D Live reconnected. Sorry about that. Joelle's sorry. I'm sorry. Or are we? Because it keeps happening. It's kind of like blacks don't care about black on black crime because it's not getting better. They pretend that it's getting better. They do little things. You know, in all honesty, black on black crime is not the problem. It is a symptom. That's one point that I forgot to mention yesterday in my interview with that rhino guy, Jeff Charles. I call him a rhino because he believes in the racism lie. That's commie propaganda. What a sucker. But he's black. You got to cut him some slack, right? Yeah, so we are back live. I'm on Twitch, Mixer. Oh, I don't see D Live yet. Hold on. I'm going to turn off the D Live stream and turn it back on. Psh, what a mess. Hang tight, guys. I'm on Mixer, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube. What a mess. Sending data. I'm sorry. Please bear with me. What's up to Skip? I'm going to get to you. My favorite snake, Donnie Yell. I don't know if I've talked with Donnie Yell before. Richard and Samuel from Sweden. So, okay, I'm live on all 6 platforms. Sorry about that, D Live. It took me a while to reconnect with you. Thank you guys for hanging out. Shout out for the Ninjagini from Mo Betta. And I don't want to say your last name, even though Joel and I keep saying it. We weren't aware that it's a bad word or a dirty thing. And he says, nobody want to hear the unqualified political opinions of athletes, actresses, or children. Yeah, so true. What a mess. So, anyways, apologies for the ghetto stream. Jib Jab says, wait for it. Yes, appreciate it. By the way, Joni Maverick says, beta boy. And is that talking about me or is that talking about that cuck we just watched? Cuck being a betrayer of what's right. That guy, Drew Brees. Well, Trump tweeted, I'm a big fan of Drew Brees, but he should not have apologized. We need to respect and honor the flag. Very nice. In short, that's what he said. Floshinsky says, Joel, stop dancing on the cables. Geez, SMH. Shaking my head. And shout out to Asmodor for hosting the Hake Report. Man, I don't know if it's us or the internet around us or what, but it keeps happening. It's kind of throws me off, man, to be honest, because it's not right. It's not right. Like that black dude that was telling the other black rioters back in 92, it's not right what y'all doing. Did he say to go to the white areas? I hope he didn't say that. There was an adult guy from the 1992 riots. There's footage. It's from Get a Second Jobs channel. Get a Job. It's probably the most popular video on Get a Second Jobs YouTube channel. This guy from the 1992 Rodney King riots, in which blacks and Hispanics rioted and looted after footage of police beating the, I think they were beating the, what's it called? The limbs? Not the limbs, the joints of Rodney King to incapacitate him. Yeah, I don't know. It might be worth a try. So, his statement, I want you guys to see my heart, reminds me of his wife saying, I want you to see my heart, whatever. And by the way, he received death threats. Of course. I mean, everybody's going to get death threats if they make any kind of stand, whether for good or evil. But he got death threats over his flag comments. Of course, right? Because, you know, people are hateful people on many sides, And so he said Sunday that they received death threats. He's the New Orleans Saints quarterback, by the way. NFL, football, American football, right? Drew Brees, pro football player. So, anyways, that's that weak stuff. And in Drew Brees' wife's dumb fake apology, she posted quotes from Martin Luther King that not only will we have to repent for the sins of bad people, but we will also have to repent for the appalling silence of good people. I don't know what he was talking about back then. I don't know what was going on back then. But there's this whole push that white silence is violence. I thought black violence was violence. Maybe I'm dumb. And it also has a Bible verse. The Lord has told you what is good, and this is what he requires of you. Something about do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. This is the fake version of Christianity. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends, says MLK. It's so phony. I don't know how the blacks were acting under MLK's days. I know that there were a lot of black communists in the so-called civil rights movement, and that he kissed up to the Democrats and signed over the he signed on to the bribery of black destruction, black family destruction. He signed over to it, and the blacks don't want to take any responsibility for vote, to the point where the black stupid conservatives don't even want to take responsibility or hold fellow blacks responsible for dumb blacks voting Democrat. They want to say, oh, it's the Republicans. They don't support local politicians. And yeah, you can say that the Republicans are weak cowards, but you got to hold the individuals responsible. The suckers, the useful idiots. They're not. You got to treat them like responsible human beings. Otherwise, they won't realize that they're supposed to be responsible. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I was attacked, by the way, on Twitter, of course, by bunch of black rhinos and, fake black conservatives, including publicly this guy, Wayne Dupre. Wow. I like that guy. He's interviewed Jesse before, all friendly, and then he talks all this crap about Jesse Lee Peterson, who's like the one person who actually actually loves black people. All these others are fake. They just have this mama feel sorry for them. Don't say stuff too harshly to them. There's only like a few black conservatives, so-called black conservatives, that I can respect out there. Alan West, that guy, Sheriff David Clark, he's behind this picture. Clarence Thomas is the only good Supreme Court justice, honestly. The rest of them are cucks. Shameful. I can count on probably one hand. I don't know. Maybe. Well, actually, there's a lot of decent. Joe Al's nice, and all these others. Big bump, but these people, they're like, I can't believe you said that. Pathetic. Okay. I got a DM from an old friend, and then I'll read super chats, and then I'll get to calls. Okay. Still streaming fine, right? I want to read this to you guys. I have friends who are illegal aliens. I don't know if they're friends. But anyways, I got this DM from a friend, direct message for the boomers. He said, by the way, I want to say thank you for opening my eyes. You probably don't remember, but one time you gave me a ride home after a soccer game. You said something to me that challenged me at a fundamental level. I want to say thank you for opening my eyes. Do you remember what you said to me? I don't remember. I do not remember. Interesting, though. But I did notice this person is what you call an illegal alien. He may call himself an immigrant. And it's very interesting because I did notice I have like 2 illegal alien friends from this soccer team, right? That I know of. Maybe more, actually. One got deported. And because police came in and he shoved a cop. But anyways, one guy is totally went off the deep end Trump derangement syndrome. And the other one is like a conservative. And I think I don't know if they've both become legalized. One was an illegal alien nursing student. Oh my gosh. And he was a coach, and I don't even want to repeat this stuff because there's so many attacks on men. But, accusations flying. What a mess. And plus, people are so immoral nowadays. Sex out of wedlock, all kinds of mess. But this guy, I'm not too surprised he did become conservative. So isn't that nice? I used to play soccer before my beta back acted up because I got out of shape. What a shame. Shameful. Let me read some super chats because I got to get to these super chats from Sunday. And I didn't get to them because I meant to make a joke about my guest yesterday who was late. About, the fact he's black and late. His computer wasn't working. Anyways, Jib Jab says, wait for it. This was yesterday. Illy Gilly says, not Earl again, LOL. Yeah, I talked to Earl yesterday. My second favorite caller from Michigan. Yes, please. And he was all pretending like he didn't understand the fact that stress is rooted in anger and stress can cause a stroke. And that was the basis of my pointing out the difference between these fake black conservatives who hate Jesse Lee Peterson and falsely accuse him of lying, these intellectuals, shallow people, fake Christians, and Jesse who's like happy, healthy, full of love and truth. So Earl didn't appreciate me attacking his affliction, as Joe from Phoenix, Arizona, his affliction, which it is an affliction, man. Anyways, right on to Joe for working on that, what's it called? Getting back to health. Lin Yun Chin says, racism, quote unquote, is a fiction, delusion of projecting. Yes, it's projection. Yeah, that's true. And it's, anyways, he goes on, suspicion, phobia, and hatred as motive to the actions and words of others. They be emotionally constipated, referring to those who cry racism. Yeah. You think you're a mind reader? And meanwhile, like racism is worse than murder to these people. It is worse than anything, almost. And in their minds, right? In their imaginations. And they don't even want to look at themselves. When you just call it a judgment, whether it's a right or wrong judgment, then you realize, oh, I can make judgments too. But they don't really. You ask a person who cries racism, are you racist? Then sometimes they say, we're all a little racist. Or, no, I'm not racist. It's so ridiculous. Giovanni A says, here. Hot Computer Smell says, huh? Ear, no sound? I don't know what was going on at that point, but appreciate it. Patrick Lewis gave a hippopotamus with a thumbs up. And he also gave another hippopotamus who's flying. Bob Anderson says, strong in the Lord, Hake, I love it. Speaking truth with backbone. Appreciate that, Bob. DNYG says, thank God for Hake. Patrick says, Hake, honest review, seems you let a lot slide. I did let a lot slide, in part because I wanted to move the things along. I didn't want to get bogged down. So I did let that guy say a lot of untrue things. And just sometimes I rolled my eyes. Sometimes I just said, that's ridiculous. That's dumb. I got some mixed reviews on yesterday's interview. Willie Palomino says, awesome show, Hake. Thank you. Giovanni A says, let us not forget, abortion clinics is the #1 killer of blacks. Yet not one rage or riots. Amazing. Guess it only matters when they benefit. Yeah, I mean, there are some clinic bombers, which seems counterproductive. Which is counterproductive, right? The Canadian David, appreciate it. Nordic Frost says, sadly, this scene, referring to that footage yesterday, and you saw it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show today, of the black church funeral of George Floyd in North Carolina, in which I think stepmother, the wife of George Floyd Sr., who's the father's wife, right? Of George Floyd, who died after the knee was on the neck, and I don't know if it was caused by that. They were making a scene. And I have pictures of George Floyd's sister, who is, I didn't realize it was a lady. Yeah. Looks kind of like a Black Lives Matter supporter. By that, I mean a black lesbian. Lin Yun Chin says, joggerific church. All that hooping and hollering. Dang. He's black. He gets to say that, right? Lin Yun Chin says, tell him racism is fiction of bad imagination. Polly J with the diamonds. Thank you. Polly J with more diamonds. Lin Yun Chin says, jobs and joggers. Jobs and joggers. I have black and yellow. Dark Side of the Bear What says, yeah, BLM loves whites with beatings, lootings, and riots. Yeah. Lin Yun Chin says, his statement is from the angle of mama control. And Lin Yun Chin is referring to my yesterday's guest who wanted to control Jesse's words and say, you shouldn't say that about black people. Coward. Pathetic. And he says, mama control via incentive of winning loyalty. And Prince of Laurentia, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but he says balkanization rocks. Is balkanization when you divide up the people and they're no longer united? And is that a bad thing? It sounds like this person thinks it's a good thing. I'm not sure. Anyways, let me get one of my callers drop. Let me get to Skip out of Augusta, Georgia. Skip, thanks for calling. How you doing?
Hey, man, how you doing, Hake?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Look at here. Oh, I know no man is good. No man is good, but I feel pretty good. How about that? Can a man
But
feel good and not be good?
if you're doing good, then I think you can do good if you are like led by God. Then you can do good, right? I think.
That would make me a do-gooder.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could possibly.
But I'm Well, look at here. I go on Facebook and look at some of the different groups that they have. Like they got one here in Augusta called the History of Augusta, Georgia, and there's a lot of good stuff in there about the history of Augusta. And then this one person yesterday made a comment that we need more diversity in that group. That there's nothing about what the blacks contributed to build Augusta, and pretty much we know blacks built a lot of America and all that crap. You know what I mean?
I've heard. So I've heard. I heard they helped. I heard they helped build the White House. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I heard.
Well, but he was harping on this diversity stuff.
Yeah.
And it's an open group. All you got to do is ask to be become a member of it. And I wrote for over an hour my comment, and I went back and proofed it, and made sure everything was right in it. And I finished it up like this. I mentioned about how before the civil rights movement, blacks lived better.
Yeah.
Like Jesse talks about.
Yeah.
And I said after the civil rights movement, the black man in the home wasn't hardly ever seen, and the women were married to the government. And I knew that was going to draw a little bit of criticism, but I didn't know what he was going to do what it did. And I finished it up like this. I told him, I said, and really the reason why blacks are doing worse now than they did, not all, of course, but they're doing worse now than they did before the civil rights movement, is because of lack of character, moral character.
Yeah.
And, buddy, you think I was waiting on the police to come knock on my door. They thought I done killed, saying I was going to kill the president or something,
Yeah.
There was so much hate. And they took me off. They took me off of there, and then I read the comments that they made. A bunch of old white folks ain't got nothing better to do but sit around. That's about all I do is sit around on the computer. But I mean, it's just people that so disattached with real life.
Yeah.
And they go by what these talk shows say, and like The View and all this crap. And I didn't say anything that was derogatory or out of mean spirit or anything.
Right.
I just made a comment, and I just couldn't believe, that you're not, they took took my right to speech out. I guess I don't know.
You know,
But it didn't make me mad, Hake. It just amazed me how you can't make a comment without being looked as a racist.
Right. They don't have the spirit of the freedom of speech anymore. So even though we have the so-called First Amendment, nobody really believes in it. I mean, especially not on the people that hate true speech. It's not even about free speech. You can't say true speech. I mean, they don't want you to say true speech. So that's what's going on. That's a shame. It's a shame that people surrender their country so willingly. And you see all this vandalism going on? Wasn't the country of Rome, or whatever that empire was, wasn't it overthrown by the Vandals? Seems like Antifa
really
and Black Lives Matter and the scum of the earth, known as the Democrats, and the media are a bunch of vandals.
They fought so many outside forces, but Rome was destroyed from within.
Yeah. They lost.
And that's what's happened to America.
I heard they lost the understanding of what it meant to be Roman. They lost their identity as Romans. Ridiculous.
Exactly.
Huh? I guess that's diversity for you, huh?
All in the name of diversity. That's right.
That's Satan.
Diversity.
That's Satan's kingdom. I appreciate it, Skip.
Let me tell you something real quick, Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to share this with you. I went to see my doctor last week, my physical therapist. I finally got to see him after the doggone coronavirus crap's over with, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was in there about 15 minutes with him. He didn't examine me or nothing. He just he said, look here, he didn't say look at here, but that's pretty much what it is. Look at here, if you want to walk again, you have got to get a hip replacement because it's bone on bone. He said, if you get this hip replacement, he said, I'll have you up walking the same day with no pain.
Really?
But if you don't he said, if you don't, he said, you'll be in that wheelchair for the rest of your life.
Do you believe
him?
Well,
let's schedule it. Well, I didn't so much believe him about the walking part so quick, but I know bone on bone ain't good. I can feel it, and that's why it hurts so damn much and wake up all doing that. So I told him to go ahead and schedule it.
Okay.
So it's going to be about 2 weeks. But I went home and I looked on Google about a hip replacement and the recovery process, and so many testimonials in there about how just a few hours basically after the hip replacement, they had them up walking, and they're giving testimonies of 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, a month later, 6 months later, how they can walk now. So, yeah, I believe them now.
Well, I wish you well with that. I hope it all works out.
Yeah, I do too. All in the name of diversity.
Well, thank you, Skip.
Day, all right?
Appreciate the update.
All right, buddy.
Good luck.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Take care. Man. Let me show the pictures of George Floyd's sister. I got to get back on track here. I was kind of thrown off with everything going on. Oh, the drops. This bald lady, and I thought that this was Jay-Z, honestly. I thought that was Jay-Z. And then I'm like, no, that's got to be George Floyd's brother. But no, it's not George Floyd's brother. George Floyd's brother has a beard, I think. And so I thought that the caption was wrong on the one who was crying, on the picture of the one person holding his or her eyes. But if you look closely, I think it really is a woman. Buzzed hair, shorter than I've ever had my hair. Gray. Wearing a suit. And yeah, I guess that's a woman, right? But this is LaTanya Floyd, sister of George Floyd, talking to the media about her dead brother around the time of the memorial that took place in Rayford, North Carolina on June 6th, Saturday. This is a scene from, I don't know what, maybe a protest or something. But, kind of, let's just say tomboyish a little. But, yeah, that's see, I thought this was a dude, but that's amazing. If you look closely, I guess it's right on. Yeah. I even said yesterday, I think that's his brother. So, apologies to LaTanya. You're the one with the short hair, but anyways. And wearing a suit, not very ladylike stuff, but I don't know. I just had to show that. For those of you who are listening, it's a guy with, it's a girl, but looks like a guy with very short hair. Like a nice fade, like better than Joel's fade. Anyways, yeah, there's George Floyd's with wings. There's a drawing of George Floyd at the funeral in North Carolina with wings and a halo and a golden casket. And the people carrying the casket, of course, have the masks on, the COVID masks covering their face so that they don't spread COVID. And he did have coronavirus, by the way, according to an autopsy. But there's all this mess. I don't know the truth about this guy, but allegedly he's done a lot of bad things, and including the day that he kind of had a hand in getting himself killed. We'll see what the police say. You know, these crazy protests. The New York Times fired a guy. No, they didn't fire a guy. He was reassigned, right? Editorial page boss, I got this from Drudge, resigns, and I heard about this on Twitter and stuff, after an op-ed backlash. So what happened was Republican Senator Tom Cotton, who in my opinion may well just be a rhino. I don't know. Sometimes he's critical of Trump when he doesn't need to be, I think. And he may be like, I don't know if he's a neocon type of a person, meaning like getting involved in foreign wars too much. I don't know. I know that he's ex-military, kind of respectable, quieter. But he's from, I forget which state. But he wrote an opinion piece in New York Times about, I think it was titled, Send in the Troops. And this is not that's not the article that he wrote. But New York Times did put out an article, mess article, which I will mention in a sec, calling for Trump to use the Insurrection Act against the riots, which they call protests, right? End the violent riots. And another guy, Jim Dow. So editor of the editorial page, James Bennett, was ultimately responsible for posting this send in the troops thing. And they're like, you want to use the military against Americans. And, you know, it's all politics. It's all posturing. It's all just liberal false values. It's not about what's right, right? So this is New York Times kissing up to the far left because they are the far left. And this other guy, Jim Dow, who personally edited Senator Tom Cotton's op-ed. Senator, he's like, what he says, what he writes in New York Times or submitted to New York Times is newsworthy. It's editorial worthy, but he resigned as well. They moved him out and replaced him with this woman. I do have this woman's pick, New York Times, whatever, Katie Kingsbury. I looked her up. A female, a liberal. I don't know if she's white or what. She looks kind of white. She is evil. And she is a liberal female cop hater who pretends to care about black people and believes in imaginary police brutality. And here's the article that they put out on June 1st. America's protests won't stop until police brutality does. Police brutality. You know, these people do not care at all about blacks or America. They're America's enemies, right? They're blacks' enemies, they're whites' enemies. They certainly hate whites. And they certainly hate blacks because black brutality is way higher, way bigger of a problem than so-called police brutality. Hashtag defund the police. No more police. Democrats are aiming for a national police force, says Refocus Zone on a Periscope. The editorial board is a group of opinion journalists, says the New York Times, whose views are informed by the expertise, research, debate, and certain long-standing values, meaning communistic so-called fake values. It is separate from the newsroom, that's for sure. So that's the New York Times. They want to blame the cops, put all the blame on the cops and zero responsibility for the blacks. What's wrong with the blacks? The New York Times turns a blind eye. As does the media, as do the fake black conservatives, right? Who hate Jesse Lee Peterson. So phony. There's a whole bunch of cucks attacking Trump. Colin Powell, John Kelly, John Bolton's going to release a book in the next end of June, I heard. Statues being taken down. You know, I'm going to take some calls, but Joel, show some statues. Show these. Go through and show these pictures of the statues taken down as I just take these calls, so you can just be disgusted while I get to Richard out of South Carolina. You can just show them just generally. Statues taken down. I think it's in there. Yeah, statues taken down folder. What's up to Richard in South Carolina?
What's up, James?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Right on.
Watching the freak show.
Yep.
It's pathetic. Gosh, it's pathetic.
Very true.
Got a couple of comments I want to make real quick on what you with Skip was talking about. The first one, there's a documentary on the history of the Roman Empire.
Yep.
Used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there or not since Obama got involved. He might have taken it down because it tells the truth.
I'm showing pictures of the ropes that the Black Lives Matter idiots used to pull down the statue. Yeah, and, you're talking about the documentary about the Roman Empire? And what was the last thing you just said?
There, I said I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not because since Obama got involved with Netflix, he took it out.
Yep.
But they went back and forth for hundreds of years and hundreds of years and hundreds of years. They went back and forth from socialism to capitalism. As far as their emperors, they would have an emperor that was a capitalist, and he would be there, till he died.
Wow.
And then there would be another emperor come along, and he may be a socialist.
Yep.
And ultimately, what brought down the Roman Empire is the last emperor was a big socialist.
Yeah.
And the people ran out of money to give the people and food, and they turned on the empire. And like you said, it went down from within. Just like Venezuela, just like any other socialist country. Socialism killed the Roman Empire.
They have no character. They have no sense of morality or responsibility.
No, and you can't burn the candle at both ends. I mean, that's socialism.
Yep.
It's going to run out. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And Skip, get the hip replacement because my dad had one. He's 76 years old. He had one about 4 or 5 years ago, and me and him walked a mile and a half at the beach this week. So, he's doing great. So he'll be fine, man. Just check your doctor out real good.
Check him out, you said? Check him out. Check out the doctor real good?
Sure. Yeah, he's got a good history, a good success rate.
Is it a dangerous operation?
No, not today. They've come a long way since they started doing that.
Yeah. And
they've improved the actual hip joint that they're using. They've been using. They had some trouble with some in the past and had to go back in and replace them.
Yeah.
But they've got a new one out. This highly successful, and as long as he gets the right hip and the joint and the right doctor, has a good doctor, he'll be fine.
Cool.
Yeah. And what I called about.
Yeah.
The documentary that Chris Wallace had on Fox News last night at about, 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, called Countdown to 1945.
Yeah.
This is a good prime example of what's going on in our schools in our country, of how they're trying to brainwash people. The left, Chris Wallace worked for Fox News, but he's a liberal.
Yes.
And he started out with right when Roosevelt died and Hoover took over, and he interviewed this little Japanese woman that she was telling about how beautiful the city was, and she was a little girl at the time, and her mama got killed, and she survived, and how the city was blown, and they played the music, and Chris Wallace is being the mom, having his little mama voice, talking about the poor, pitiful Japan, and painting America as the the big bad wolf. My phone's ringing in the background. I'm sorry.
So that's from after the A bombs. We dropped some atomic bombs.
We dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end the war. Now, the whole time I'm watching this, I couldn't even hardly sleep last night. I had to turn it off. The whole time I'm watching this, he starts it out and goes from where he started, and it's about his book, Countdown to 1945.
Uh-huh.
And it's just painting America as the big bad wolf, the bully of the world, blowing up the Japan with these two bombs. But he never says one thing about what started that war. Never mentioned one time the cowardly attack on Pearl Harbor by Japan that killed over 3,000 servicemen in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And that's what started the whole war. They didn't just go over there and start. The war started because of Japan.
And
not us.
Nick says, what about the Japanese refused to surrender a losing war?
Exactly.
It might not be any Japanese left if it weren't for those bombs, he says.
Right.
And, I heard, I used to have some Chinese friends. I have still, I think. And one guy said, the Japanese, they raped so many Chinese women because they were oppressing the Chinese, right? Or at least, I don't know where, right? Allegedly, right?
Yeah.
So many rapes and crazy things going on by the Japanese against the Chinese. And I'm no fan of China either.
Me either.
But they weren't any innocent victims. I mean, you can say that, the civilians, they're not necessarily in control of the government. They didn't necessarily vote for this war or whatever.
Right.
But that's war, man.
That's war.
It's so pathetic. It's such kissing up to the, basically kissing up to injustice.
They're trying to, and see these, all the young people that haven't been taught in their history in schools, that's the same people that are out there marching in the streets now with the Black Lives Matter and all these white people get down on their knees saying, sorry for being such a bad white person.
Yep.
And they don't know, they've been told this stuff. They don't know anything about history.
Richard, I got to run.
Okay.
I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Good to hear from you.
You sure?
Take care. Let me get to Samuel out of Sweden. Samuel's been on hold a while. Appreciate you hanging on, Samuel. Go for it.
Well, it was the intro when you showed a video about the football player taking back his words.
Yeah.
And last week I just been thinking about two aspects about people taking back what they say. And the first thing is that, after 18, when you become, legal age, people doesn't change. So it's very unusual in a way that a person changes. So that from one day a person can totally become different, as they say now, they see something, whatever. I don't believe that. Either they lied when they said it first time, they wasn't honest about their opinion, or they just faking it when they say it, change their mind or ask forgiveness. Anyway, and the other part is that I starting to see that the major problem is not people having wrong opinions, but that people doesn't stand for their opinions.
Right.
Because I just want people to stand for what they think.
Me too.
That's a good thing with me, that I'm honest. Even if I perhaps am wrong, I know that everything I do and say, I'm honest about it.
Yeah.
I don't have to be apologize because I stand for whatever I do. So, it's not really about if you're right or wrong. It's just to be able to stand for what you're doing in your life. That's what I mean.
What's so ridiculous is the people that are right are the ones who end up apologizing, or they say something that's generally true and they apologize. That's why I was so happy, and that's why I knew that President Trump was going to become president, because he said something right. And finally, we found a man who didn't back down from it. And that is so you don't find that anywhere else in the culture. Everybody was kissing up, apologizing. Rick Santorum saying, I want the blacks to have jobs or something like that. And then he said, I didn't say that, because it sounded like he was saying blacks are lazy, which they are. Many are. And, story after story of people apologizing and backtracking and being weak. It's pathetic. So that is so valuable of Trump to stand on on the truth that he says.
Yeah, I mean, after 4 years in office, he hasn't backed down from anything he has said.
Yeah.
I don't know anything he has apologized or anything. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very nice. And that's why I like him getting in fights with these politically correct so-called military leaders or ex-military leaders like John Kelly, James Mattis, John Bolton, who's not military, I don't think. But all these, from John McCain on down, they're all the scum of the earth, evil people, fake. They're part of the problem.
I also have an opinion about Mad Dog.
Yeah, what's that?
Or moderate dog, as Trump called him. Anyway, that's he complains now that Trump doesn't respect the Constitution. But when the Mad Dog was in office, he didn't respect the office of the president, because when the president said, "Let's leave these places, Afghanistan, whatever," Mad Dog became angry. He didn't respect the power of the president.
Wow.
And he said he quit. He left. But he doesn't respect the president's right. He's elected by the people to end wars. And then he complains that Trump doesn't respect the Constitution.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny, I think.
It is rich hearing anybody mention anything about the Constitution with regards to Trump if they weren't also talking about all the anti-constitutional things Obama was doing, Bush was doing, these liberal judges, activist judges have been doing, creating laws like same-sex marriage, like abortion, all these things that the liberal judges have been doing, and they want to cry about the Constitution. It's so phony. Mattis is a fake. I appreciate it, Samuel. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, take care.
All right, you as well. Mo Betta says, if I was a cop and Joel was a speeder on the 405, no ticket, so long as we get that Hake outro mix. He's not here right now, so I don't know if he heard that. Floyd's sister was Cedric the Entertainer, says Mo Betta. Really serious news. Gave a diamond on D-Live and said, literally a circus. Balkanization, Lin Yan Chin says, equals a consolidation of people in purity. Interesting. Yeah. What a mess. Oh, let me get a little bit more. A. Owen says, your thoughts on Anthony Joshua and what he said at London BLM March? Is Anthony Joshua the boxer who got punked by, I don't know, by that Hispanic guy? That fat Hispanic guy? Is he a boxer, Anthony Joshua, or am I coming up with something else? I didn't hear about it. Thank you, A. Owens, for the tip. We'll look into it. Wayne L. Sexton is a weird name. Almost unreal. Cough, CIA, cough. Peace, Hake. Thank you for the tip on that, too. I'm not really familiar. Spoiler alert explains a group organizer. Quotes from a group organizer. Maybe we need more diversity in this group? Skip McBurney. Blacks were better off under Jim Crow. Maybe you came off too strong, Skip. And he gave you the okay sign. Right on. Hot Computer Smell says, shout out to Spoiler Alert. And Jib Jab says, was Hot Computer Smell's single a one-hit wonder? Where the tunes at, huh? Oh, Hot Computer Smell had a remix by Bub's Love, I think, of the Hake Report or something to do with me. It was a good song. It was a good jam. I think I have it in my music is of the devil playlist, which is a long playlist of different pop songs, but sometimes I have cool stuff written by or made by you guys. Cool. Let me get to Yak Sip. I don't know if I want. What is this name? Yak Sipper. Is that a bad thing? Chat? Out of New York City, first time caller. What's up, Yak? Are you there? Yeah, Anthony Joshua is the British boxer. Yak, I don't hear you. You probably have me on mute.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Who am I speaking to?
Hold on, Yak Sipper. Somebody's lost. Jesse out of Texas. How are you doing, Jesse?
Good morning, Hank. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Just wanted to talk about Antifa. I know you don't got much time. This is something I talked about last week about the 6-point identity. I made that phone call.
Okay.
Whatever.
Are you on speakerphone or Bluetooth or something? You're sounding far away.
No. I'm going to speak a little louder.
Stay close to your phone.
Antifa. Haaretz.com. Haaretz is the big news organization in Israel.
Right.
They've released 10 to 15 articles over the weekend that says if you attack Antifa, you're anti-Semitic. Trump's attacks on Antifa is anti-Semitic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Send me the tip. Send me the article.
I will, sir.
All right.
Will. Also, Black Lives Matter is funded by another guy that's a 6-point identity. Granted, he's a secular one, meaning George Soros.
Yeah.
But BLM
aren't most of these people secularists?
Some of them, but Haaretz being an Israeli and stuff, I'm pretty sure
you're not coming through clearly, Jesse.
Yeah, well, I'll send you those emails, Hank. But I just
All right.
wanted to basically put that out there. Appreciate it, sir.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Yep. Let me get to Andrew, and then I will get back to Yak. Give me his real name, Nick, because I don't like that name. Andrew out of Ohio. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? Hey,
Not much. How about you?
I'm just remember after right on election night in 2016, Van Jones. Remember what he said?
It was a white lash.
Yeah.
Yep. The commie.
I didn't know Hillary or Tim Kaine were black. I didn't know that. What is that?
Their souls are.
That's true.
Yeah. Tim Kaine.
And what else did I?
You wanted to be the first.
say?
He wanted to be her right-hand person.
Yeah. So Drew Brees and his wife are apologizing for having opinions.
They're liberals.
What happened to the First Amendment?
His. I don't know what his wife is thinking. I wonder what's going on behind the scenes with that situation. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stick with it. They're not going to accept your apology now.
Yeah.
They don't know.
That's true.
They don't even know what side you're coming from now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just repeating dumb liberal lines. And in all honesty, maybe his first statement was kind of unoriginal, I guess. I don't know. But at least it was personal. I mean, he talked about his, father, but at least his grandfather or multiple grandfathers who fought in the wars. Anyways, yeah, he's a fake liberal. What a sucker.
This reminds me of, remember when Reva Martin, she accused David Webb of white privilege.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't even know he was black. Remember that?
Right. Yep. These people are retarded.
If it wasn't so tragic, it would be hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really sad.
Well, I mean, hey, the world is evil, and we just have to keep on pushing. It's an eternal struggle between good and evil, right? We can't let the evil get into us. Appreciate you, Andrew. Thanks, man.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. Let me get back to Mike out of New York City. First-time caller. What's up, Mike?
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Doing fine.
I'm calling from New York. I'm calling from New York. I just want to say hello. But there's a big thing going on out here. And I'm glad I got your attention. And I'm glad that you also take the calls and take the time out of your day to listen to people and see what's really going on. Because that's the real question, man. this stuff is all bogus. The COVID-19 is bogus. The George Floyd stuff, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
And people have been getting played. And whether you agree with me or not, that's okay. We can agree to disagree. But what's going on out here is wrong. Like the George Floyd stuff, they got people brainwashed. People need to throw their television sets out the window and stop going for the okie doke. They're getting hoodwinked. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, can you tell me something? I mean, they can go on for days, and I'm not trying to insult you, and that's not the point of my phone call. You understand what I'm saying? I was raised up in Catholic. I mean, I'm out here in New York, Catholic, but I don't even see that right. You understand what I'm saying? Look at the Pope. That Pope is a Satanist.
Right.
Yeah, I'll say it.
Did you hear about Mike?
so
Did you
go
hear?
ahead.
Did you hear about the Archbishop who wrote an open letter to President Trump in LifeSite News, the Catholic pro-life website? He wrote an open letter to President Trump telling this is a eternal battle between good and evil, and these people that are pretending to fight racism, they're not fighting racism. They're not fighting for actual justice. They're trying to destroy the country.
Well, the one thing we can agree on is that there is a fight between good and evil.
Yeah.
But Trump is not the good. Hillary's not the good. Biden's not the good. They're both wings of the same feather. That's some Masonic stuff. People have been going for the dumb stuff for so long. You understand what I'm saying?
Who would you
Whether
say?
believe it or not.
Who in the public
Go
eye
ahead.
would you say is for good?
Nobody. Anybody that's put up on a platform, unless it's.
You say that Trump is part of the this Masonic thing, and
Of course.
because he's
Of
put on a
course.
platform, or because of stuff that he said?
No. This is going back hundreds of years. I'll just say hundreds of years, 100 years. This is lineage. This is
Are you just assuming that Trump is part of that?
The writing is on the wall. Look at who controls your monetary system with your money. Your money is fake. It's not backed by nothing. They're playing people. I know you heard this before, but you know it's the truth.
How did you find the show, Mike?
Well, I like Jesse, and I like some of what he says, and I don't like some of what other stuff he says. I'll give you one more example.
So you're Catholic.
I don't know this. Excuse me? Yeah, well, that's the way I was raised. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't really believe in that. I don't subscribe to that.
So you don't appreciate President Trump telling the truth about stuff, that we should love the country and standing by it?
Because President Trump will be at Hillary Clinton's daughter's wedding. You follow me?
That was a long time ago.
But it's the same thing.
It's not the same thing as today.
No, it is. It is. That's where you've been confused. That's where you.
But
I don't mean no disrespect. We're having an open dialogue.
Right, but it sounds like It sounds like you may be you may be jumping to conclusions about Trump that may not be true.
Well, I could be, and I'll admit that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're wrong. But at the end of the day,
but you shouldn't say stuff unless you know. Seems like.
No, well, I do know. You could see them going to each other's weddings.
But that's old news. That's old news.
No, but it's still relevant. It may be old news, but it's still relevant.
You don't see that he's changed? You don't think he's changed?
He's changed what?
He's changed on abortion. He changed from Democrat to Republican. He's become very strong on.
Hold on.
Anyways,
excuse me.
I gotta run, Mike. Appreciate you.
I don't mean to cut you off, but don't you see that they're both the birds of the same feather that fly together?
I noticed. Okay, I'll grant you.
Right.
I'll grant you.
Go ahead.
I'll grant you that most of the Republican presidents and politicians who are in office right now in the Republican Party, a bunch of rhinos. So yes, on that sense, they are. I don't see it with Trump. Maybe one day I'll see it, but I don't see it. I appreciate you, Mike. I gotta run. We gotta end it. Thanks for calling. Call me again.
Thank you once again for letting me speak my mind. But
You're welcome, man.
Please
take care, man. I gotta take it in. Basquet and Mays, I'm sorry I can't get to you, but rebuildingtheman.com/church, giving back to the church and future treasure chest, says Mo Betta. Appreciate that. And let me just double check over here. Dimitrov says, keep up the good fight. Appreciate that, Dimitrov. All right, guys. Take care.